Part 58. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 572. To Kangbei at the beginning of May 7th. Yekong is all here, where he is willing to leave, there is no treasure, not his style. Yekong laughed, Wang Daiu, since it's dangerous, let me go alone. Rest assured, I'm not stupid. I just looked at it and didn't go deep into the hinterland. I will slip back in time if it's a little dangerous. Seeing Wang Tingshi still refused, Yekong said again, just look at it, don't be so stubborn. I will come out after reading and leave the dead yin section. Wang Tingshi could not help but persuade him and had to sideways give way. Yekong smiled at her and stepped forward, only feeling a flash before him, he was already standing on the Kangbei continent. That's how to penetrate the barrier? It's easy, it's almost as easy as following into that cottage. Someone looked at his body to see if he was injured. Bashing Wang Tingshi heard a laugh, and the boy was serious and unfair. Yekong turned back and asked, Wang Daiu, don't you say danger? You still come in. Wang Tingshi said indignantly, this is the passage through which our corpse Yinzong fights. Why can you get in, but I can't get in? Then you stopped me 3 or 2 times ago. Wang Tingshi laughed. I'm also curious. Curious, then take a look. Looking around, I saw this is a small canyon under the 10,000 deep valley. On one side of the canyon is the golden barrier that cuts through the sky. The other 3 weeks are the peaks of Wanchao, with strange rocks and golden light shining, as if there are countless strange shapes. The beast hovered on the steep cliff wall. Looking at this canyon again, there are 200 steps left and right, 500 steps east and west, long and narrow, without any buildings. There is a circle of forbidden formations around the canyon, and in the middle of the formations is the space door like an oval mirror. If you don't want to be in Kangbei, that's the case, heaven or sky, earth or ground, mountain or mountain, water or water. I don't know if the legendary land is treasure, is it true? Yekong took out the flying carpet, he had always. I'm ready to announce my identity. There is nothing to worry about when I come to Kangbei. You are a very special flying weapon. Wang Tingshi rarely went out and did not know that this flying carpet was someone's signature item. This is a magic carpet. Lying on it has the function of relieving fatigue. Come on, I will take you. Well, there is such a magical function, I will try it out soon. Wang Tingshi also jumped on the flying carpet. Hee, I didn't say that the flying carpet can massage, I just said that lying on it, when the time comes, it will be your man's hand. Someone got off, flying on a flying carpet. The flying carpet rises higher and higher, and behind it are endless golden barriers, and the small canyons at the foot are getting smaller and smaller. Don't say that you are quite stable on the flying carpet, even if the mortal is on top, you will not be too nervous. Wang Tingshi praised, sitting on the flying carpet halfway, looking at the Kangbei continent. It is still night. Although the monk's eyes can be night vision, the night still has an impact on eyesight. At a glance, I saw a dense black forest below. Some trees were tall and boundless, while others were just low bushes. The wind was shaking, just like countless dark monsters. Oh, thinking of the monster really appeared. A low beast roar sounded behind a distant mountain. Then, the roar of beasts rang in countless circles one after another. Some were low, some were harsh, some were screaming like children, and some were like a kitten Hunshan. I don't know how many monsters there are in this wood in front of me. Let's go back and come out during the day. Wang Tingshi was a little scared. Rest assured, those guys are on the ground, we fly in the sky, what are we afraid of? While Yekong was talking, he heard the sound of in front of him. The sound of the call was very far away, but in the blink of an eye, 2 black dots could be seen, getting bigger and bigger. Is passing by, Yehalo prayed. But unfortunately, the 2 flying monsters came at them and hit them straight. Even if Yekong adjusted the height, they hit them. "Be careful not to fall," Yekong yelled and stopped abruptly. After stopping the repellent technique, the flying carpet immediately fell straight, and Wang Tingshi screamed in horror and followed the flying carpet to fall straight. Two giant birds, about the size of a medium-sized aircraft, wiped their heads with strong air currents, and the wind cyclones that they brought up blown the flying carpet like small leaves in the wind. I didn't expect to encounter a dinosaur, or a pterosaur. As soon as I arrived in Kangbei, Yekong worked hard to stabilize the flying carpet. He just saw the two big birds, just like pterosaurs, with a crown-like crown on his head. The neck is slender, chicken feet, meat wings, and a large tail. "What kind of pterosaur? That is a high-grade spirit beast," bi-wing bird Wang Tingshi corrected. "I would like to be a biplane in heaven, and I would like to be a branch in the earth. Its ancestors were stiff, beautiful poetry, but I did not expect that biplanes are so ugly, damn, so abominable." Yekong saw the pair. The big bird actually rushed back again. He suddenly yelled but the beast can't understand people's words, you can't scold them, just kill them. Claws of Lushan. A large yellow-colored hand appeared in the sky, and the big hand grabbed it violently. I shot you." Yekong played another trick, and the turquoise giant hand changed its position immediately. Facing the bird behind it was a slap. The bird behind is slightly bigger and slightly awkward in movement, and this time it was shot really. Oh, the bird was photographed flying, and fell while rolling, and was about to hit a big tree, which stopped the fall. Cracking! Cracking! The two birds screamed at each other. The one in front was slightly smaller and turned to look at Yekong. The small eyes were full of fierceness. "No, the bird you hit just now is a female bird. It is said that this is the deepest affection than a wing bird. One side can martyrdom for the other. You hit the female bird. This male bird is desperate for you," Wang Tingshi quickly reminded Tao. At the same time she also took out the magic weapon. "Male bird, mother bird, if you have deep feelings, you should find a place for me and I, instead of attacking others here. Biplanes are not good birds. If you provoke me, you have to pay the price, and you want to work hard with me. You die," Yekong yelled, and Jingguang waved in his hand. Boom! 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 3 crescents hit the male biplane. Jingguang can, prestigious. The male wingbird was a little surprised. "This little human, is not guts, he dare to attack me before I attack him. What a courage! The wingbird is not as tall as a bird. It has one wing and covers the sky. Even if it stands there, it has a height of 2 floors. The crescent moon sent by Jingguangxiu is only 2 feet high and less than 1 meter, so it is slightly less enemies than wing birds." The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 573. 574 Lovebirds. "Oh," the cockatoo screamed, sweeping like a javelin with a barbed tail. "I want to give the little 3 golden lights to Sophie. This beast has ruled in the sky for a long time. How can I know that Jingguangsun is so powerful, and only listen to the sound of, the tip of the bone joint tail is cut off." "Yeah," Yubi yelled in pain. His huge body rolled away in the sky, and he could not escape the remaining 2 crescents. This blow made it really hot. It did not expect that this little human would dare to hurt it. Hula, it spread its huge wings straight up to Juxiao. Then, it turned back, gathered up the giant wings, and rushed down towards Yekong, like a lightning bolt, a javelin, blasted out. Moon shooting. A few golden lights flew out again, welcoming the wingbird that came down. I didn't think this guy was flexible, but very flexible. He could still change his position at high speed and easily escape a few golden lights. Flying fish sword. Yekong couldn't make a hit, and put on the flying fish sword, but he was still dodged by the wingbird. Faster than the wingbird, in a blink of an eye, they rushed to Yekong in front of them, and could already see the old texture on its dark red pointed beak. Facing this huge and agile giant bird, Wang Tingshi panicked in his heart, took out the magic weapon, and did not dare to hit it. What to do? Wang Tingshi asked in surprise. It's okay, stand firm. Yekong stood at the forefront of the flying carpet, without fear. What about the upper grades? You are just a bird. Of course, it is a bird, and it is not an ordinary bird. If it is hit by this, a spiritual shield that builds a real person is completely unstoppable. On the other side, the female hawkwing bird standing on the tree has already sent the celebration call in advance. Like humans, the males are very happy to show their prestige in front of the mother, and the male bird quickly dives in his heart. 500 meters, 400 meters, 300 meters. It's not 100 meters away. 50 meters, 30 meters. 20 meters, 10 meters. Arrived. As soon as Yekong's pupils were closed, he took off a piece of magic charm, and immediately stepped on his feet. The flying carpet turned spiritually into a maneuver, holding Yekong and Wang Tingshi to lift a half-meter. Call. A huge wind whistle sounded and blew Wang Tingshi's black tulle up and down, and she was surprised to find that the flying carpet passed close to the bird's neck. Not too high, not too short, just passing by the gap in its slender neck. Looking at the bi-wing bird again, I saw that its entire body had been covered by a thick layer of ice, like a large block of ice, keeping its speed and hitting the ground. Inferior high order, quick freeze spell. Boom, there was a violent shaking in the woods of Hessen, and dozens of big trees were knocked over. Dead, Yekong didn't pause. After avoiding the blow, he turned around and drove down on the flying carpet. Oh, the female bird screamed, and her wings trembled, rushing to rescue the male bird. Yekong arrived first and saw that the ice cubes had been shattered. The male's neck was seriously injured in the fall, but it still fluttered with huge wings and wanted to fly. You bulletin chop, Yekong issued a few chops again. The golden moon bud chop immediately opened a few holes on the back of the wing bird. Oh, was another scream of heartbreaking wailing. The female bird was killed, and a giant wing trembled. The female bird stopped in front of the male bird, yelling at Yekong hanging in the sky, trying to drive Yekong away to protect the male bird. The male bird tweeted as it struggled, as if urging the female bird to leave. The female bird was still standing, protecting the male bird. Brother Heze, forget it, we haven't suffered any harm. Women always have some inexplicable kindness. Wang Tingshi looked at the two birds with deep affection, and even forgot that the two birds were going to kill them just now, begging Yekong to stop shot. For the time being, save your life and be a human, don't be too arrogant as a bird. Yekong and an animal have nothing to worry about. Since Wang Tingshi said to let it go, let it go. Who knew that when they were about to leave, they listened to a deep roar in the dense forest. The sound was like thunder, as if they were roaring in all directions. Yekong didn't dare to stay longer, and quickly pulled up Gaozhang, and saw countless dark shadows piercing through the dense forest, speeding fast, and heading straight for the injured male bird. Oh, the female bird could no longer care about Yekong. It screamed madly, rushed over, and pecked those dark shadows with its sharp mouth. Although the black shadow is much smaller than the winged bird, it is fast, extremely agile, and numerous. The female guarded this side, and came over again, and the black shadow pecked by it was just a turn over, and then rushed up. After a while, the blackbird's neck was bitten by several black shadows. Looking at those black shadows, there are actually many black shadow leopards. The shadow leopard is a medium-level intermediate monster, and the speed is fast. Only one black shadow can be seen when running, so it is called a shadow leopard. The male bird knew that he could not die anymore, even he did not even resist but just kept crying and urging the female bird to leave. But this winged bird is really affectionate. The female bird just doesn't leave, still struggling to protect the male bird. But those shadow leopards are polite. Not only are they biting the male birds, they are also starting to think of female birds. Save them, this is a pitiful bird. Wang Tingshi burst out with love. Ye Kong smiled bitterly, do you think I'm a fairy? There are dozens of shadow leopards below, and the middle grade and middle grade are equivalent to the strength of the middle and late stages of building. How can I deal with that alone? Wang Tingshi said unbelievably, even if a group of monks in the middle and late stages of construction are not your opponents, you can save them. Wang Tingshi said, starting to shake someone's arm. Ye Kong is depressed. Every girl likes to come to this set. Well, I can try it, but the consequences are not guaranteed, and I have to remind you again that the thorny roads of Xianxia are crowded with traps. If you don't know, it will be the abyss. Do not abuse kindness. I do not know why, Wang Tingshi likes to hear Ye Kong tell her these things. Although it seems like a lesson, the concern is so serious. In Wang Jiafang City, this is a paragraph that easily hits her heart. Okay, only once, Wang Tingshi urged again. Okay, in fact, Ye Kong really didn't want to save the bird. No matter who it was, he was responsible for himself, and the bird was no exception. But Wang Tingshi said to save it, it's best to kill all the shadow leopards. Hey, medium quality and intermediate level, presumably all have beasts. At the beginning, Cao Junfan took a mid-level beast, Danduniu X, and bake it. Lao Tzu took back a lot of mid-levels this time. Hey, Sister Cucumber must be excited to death. Ye Kong raised his hand again as a sublime high-level charm. Meteor, Fire and Rain. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 574. 575 Killing Birds Return. Suddenly, countless meteorites and meteors smashed, the roaring sound was endless, the ground trembled, and the flames ignited the forest. Wang Tingshi was surprised to see such a large-scale scene. What kind of spell is so powerful? It is impossible to imagine that a real person can make such a big movement in the foundation period. And the golden light he used just now, that's Gubao. It was only because of this practice that he became the master of the mixed Yuan zone. Wang Tingshi found that the longer he knew him, the more he could not understand him. Meteor, Fire and Rain is not small, but the effect is average. The shadow leopards were too fast and too cunning. When the first wave of meteorites fell and killed 3 shadow leopards, the other shadow leopards had run away without a trace. The most depressing is that it has also reacted. The shadow leopard fled, and the female jumped out, but the dying male was just exposed to the meteorite hit. A large meteorite at the size of the 8 Immortals table hit the center of the male bird's forehead, and smashed it on the spot, and then ignited its fur, and then the big winged bird was quickly devoured by flames. Oh, the female screamed sternly, looking back, looking at someone with a pair of small eyes. No, don't do this, I want to help you. Oh, the female's whole body feathers were erected, and at a glance, she knew that she was going to die. Please mourn your husband slowly, buddy, and my family, there is still something to do, not to be accompanied. Ye Kong quickly fled on the flying carpet. The female wingbird has identified this man as a murderer's enemy, fluttering his wings and chasing like crazy. Ye Kong was not afraid of it, but the buds were cut off in a few months, and the female bird did not hide. She rushed forward and wanted to die with someone. Wang Tingshi pleaded beside him, everyone kills a male bird, don't kill a female bird. Is the ancestor of Japan, am I going to kill it? Forget it, can't afford to mess with it. Let's go back. Fortunately, not far from the way back, Ye Kong flew over the canyon and immediately landed straight down. The female bird only stared. The canyon was too narrow and its wings could not be opened. Of course, it can fold its wings and dive down, but how can it fly out? The female bird is not stupid. The defensive enchantment is also very humane. As long as it is human, it can enter and exit freely. If it is other types, it can only enter and cannot enter. Yekong took Wang Tingshi back to the formation and sighed, "What Kangbei is treasure everywhere, it's just nonsense. It's true that crises are everywhere, and I don't know what these guys are desperate for it's full." Wang Tingshi laughed, "Of course there is a treasure. How can those ancestors who have lived for hundreds of years have a silly one? No one enters for hundreds of thousands of years in Kangbei. The treasures of Kangnan are extinct. Aren't all spirits and beasts treasures? Just a few wingbirds that chased us just now. How many are there in Kangnan? If you catch them as fairy birds, I don't know how many people are envious. Excuse me, I am the killer of his husband, he hates me, rides it?" Suspected, Yekong and Wang Tingshi jokingly went to the middle of the gorge and wanted to go back quickly. "It's been half an hour, and I don't know what happened to the mixed UN zone." But taking 2 steps, Yekong found something wrong. Pausing, "Stop, look around. No. Where's the portal?" Wang Tingshi also immediately woke up. Looking left and right, the canyon is still that canyon, the formation method is still the formation method, and dozens of moonlight stones around a tall lighthouse, but the oval portal in the middle is gone. "Ah! I can't go back." Wang Tingshi walked 2 steps, watching blankly, murmuring in his mouth, "Where is it? May it be invisible. Don't look for it, it's my fault. I found it strange when I came here, but I didn't think deeply about it. Oh, Li Ling is faint." Yekong fell weakly on the dry yellow earth. Wang Tingshi still didn't understand, and asked, "What? I don't understand it yet, what about the portal?" Yekong smiled bitterly, "Have you seen a teleportation array? If it is a 2-way teleportation array, there must be an array of altar formations on both sides. Do you see this? When I came, I was thinking, there was such a huge pyramid over there, but there was only a piece of yellow land. It was obviously wrong. Well, when I was looking at the Kangbei continent, I didn't think about it. This is a 1-way teleportation array." Wang Tingshi immediately understood. "It's not 1-way, but it can only be activated over there. If I'm not mistaken, your dad must have set it up. Only over there, the portal will open and you can go back here. But if there is for a period of time no one came in and out, the portal was closed, and when someone came in there, it was opened again, so that no demons and demons would pass by, and your father's mind was really fine." Wang Tingshi was also unable to sit on the ground and asked, "What then?" Yekong smiled bitterly. Wait for someone to come in next time." In fact, Yekong was also very annoyed. Whoever thought that the fallen ancestor would come up with such a lack of morality? Even if someone came over there, the portal opened, he didn't dare to pass. The one who can come over is of course the corpse Yinzong. If he fell to the sky and squatted outside the door over there, he would be hacked by him if he went out. Just when the two were helpless and didn't know what to do, they suddenly heard the wind howling in the sky. Looking up, I saw a large tabletop boulder falling from the sky. Boom, the boulder fell from Wanling high. The acceleration was amazing, the force was unusually large, and the formation was smashed. After a while, another boulder fell from the sky. Boom. No need to think, it must be that the female bird is unwilling to forgive, hate them too much, can't come down, we will kill you. If it is an ordinary boulder, the defense team does not care. But hit it from that high, the array can't bear it. If you hit it like this, you don't have to get to dawn, and the formation will collapse. Brother Hize, I'm sorry. Wang Tingshi apologized. If it wasn't for her love, the male bird would have been eaten by the shadow leopard, and the female bird would not hate them. Don't blame you, blame me for not doing well. Yekong patted her on the shoulder and stood up. It happened that I went out to practice the sword with this boulder, and even if I was smashed, I don't have to worry about it. Remember, the last time the tortoise shell I used in Wanjiachan, you can rest assured. Wang Tingshi was still wearing a black tool and shoulders. In the palm of his hand, he felt that the fragrant shoulders were rounded, with a layer of tulle. The skin inside was so slippery that it was hard to put it down. Alas, the ancients said that any part of a beauty can be exciting, and it really is. Someone shamelessly took several shots before flying out. Female bird, come on, it's just some stones. Yekong is still afraid of your stones. To the reader. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 575. 57.6. In fact, there are many ways to break these stones. The most overbearing method, use golden light to chop it. The most expensive method, each stone rewards a flying fish sword, and the sword bursts. The best way to do it once and for all, kill that female bird. The most full support method, pack each stone in a storage bag, and then find a place to pour out. Others said, I know, the best way is to not use the shield, use your body to connect, use these stones to exercise the strength of your bones. Yekong doesn't want to die yet, so he can't do this kind of exercise. In fact, he just wants to practice the combination of heart and sword. As the highest level of the first layer of the emptied sword tactics, although he has realized it, he has not fully grasped it, and only used it once to deal with Liang Xin's ancestors. He never used it again. He had wanted to practice it for a long time, but he never had time. One time was a breakthrough in the realm, and another time was the suzerain ceremony. Now he understands why there is a real person in charge of each section. There are too many daily affairs. There are enough spiritual stones, there is enough elixir, someone thinks the cave is bad, someone has gotten with someone's priest, another family has a good junior, a disciple steals other disciples' property. There are so many broken things that I can't keep busy every day. Because of the imbalance of his own spiritual power and cyclone, Yekong has temporarily stopped practicing. But there are a lot of things he can cultivate, such as the use of the green bow given by Wuxi Xianjun, but that is a fairy. For example, some of the methods and rules of the mixed Yuan zone, mixed Yuan Jin, but the improved Tai Chi Xiangong brought by the earth, the power is not bad. Also, this is the sword cut sword. Heart and sword in one, another big rock fell. Yekong took out the small sword weapon and stabbed it with a sword. After doing this for a day and night, Yekong admired the female a little. Persevering, I had to smash myself to death, and I didn't know where the bird went to get so many big stones. But the next night, the bird found out that someone not only died, but also practiced swords with stones thrown by it. The female bird was also a bit spiritual, and immediately went away without throwing stones. Came down. Yekong didn't dry it, but he stabbed it with gold light. Maybe he could split his head and break his brain. But think about this bird also helping himself to practice the combination of heart and sword, but did not have the heart to kill it, and hid directly in the large array, let it hit. Although the bird was thick and thick, it was flesh and blood, after all, rushed down from Wanling, and suddenly hit the skin flesh, bleeding from his mouth and eyes, lying dead outside the large array. Although Wang Tingshi was loving, she didn't dare to go. What if the female pretends to be dead? After lying down for a whole day, the bird stopped moving, and it seemed that it was almost dead. Pretend to be able to attach to this share, Yekong can also be regarded as admiring it. With Yekong's permission, Wang Tingshi hurried out, ran to the bird of the biplane, and found that this guy really had hung up. Wang Tingshi is naturally a bit sad. After all, they are happy couples. If they were not themselves and Yekong, they might still be happy, and they would not end like this. Yekong doesn't matter, it's called self-injustice. If I do mess with you, you should be thankful that you dare to take the initiative to engage in Lao Tzu, who will die if you do die. Now Yekong's headache is that he wants to break through again. That cut-empty sword tactics is inseparable from his own cultivation. According to the truth, he should be the peak of the first layer of sword tactics, and the heart and sword are united, and he should be able to break through the foundation period. However, this cut-off sword tactic was modified by Jing Quan, so it was not so powerful. When Yekong completely mastered the combination of heart and sword, he was just breaking through to the 5th floor of the base. But breakthroughs take time, and some retreats cannot complete the breakthrough for a month. Of course, the 5 elements ascension sutras practiced by Yekong are strong in spiritual power and strong in foundation, so it takes much less time than others. Just like when he built the foundation, it only took him just 10 days. But that was before. Yekong made 3 breakthroughs in the last 3 times without training. No matter how thick the foundation was, it took a long time for this breakthrough. Thinking of this, Yekong can't help crying and crying. Why is it that every breakthrough is terrible? Can this place meditate in peace? He is not uneasy about Wang Tingshi. If he wanted him to die, Wang Tingshi would not venture to tell Yuan Zhong the last time. What he was worried about was that if the portal opened again and there was a vote of corpse Yinzong disciples, he would be in danger. The corpse Yinzong hated him, and even Wang Tingshi could not stop it. While he was tangled in his heart, he suddenly heard Wang Tingshi shouting, "Brother! Come on! Come on!" "Ah, what's wrong?" Yekong Sheng rushed out of the battle, afraid of Wang Tingshi's danger. I ran to see that it was not Wang Tingshi who was in danger, but that there was something behind the female birds to dig out. Of course, it's not maggots. The first thing you drilled out was a pointed mouth and a slender neck, but the body behind you can no longer drill out. Isn't it a posthumous child? Yekong did not expect that this female bird was still a pregnant female bird. No wonder the female bird did not come out to help her when she fought against the male bird. Alas, it seems that being a man and a bird should not be too crazy. These 2 corpses have 3 lives. The family is finished. "Hey brother, shall we help it?" Wang Tingshi once again expressed his love. "Well, that's fine," Yekong thought. Wang Tingshi said just now. If he went back on a lovebird, many people would be envious. The bird didn't see how his parents died, so why bother? Adopting training, I happen to have no fairy birds. To be honest, in the past and present life, Ye has done a lot of things, but he has never done delivery work. Pulling the bird out, the guy rolled his eyes and did not pull out. No way, this thing is before it is small and big. Anyway, the female bird is dead, so give it a break. Incision of the lower part of the female bird. Wang Tingshi dare not do such a thing. It is unimaginable, as the dead Yinzone people are afraid of the body of the bird. It was only Yekanlei doing it. He cut it carefully, and got the little biplane out. The baby Bibi bird that just came out was wet all over, and he couldn't walk stably. He shouted, struggling to stand up, and followed each other, looking very cute. Although I didn't see how the female bird died, the little biplane bird saw someone cut her mother's belly with a knife, and the feud was settled. So Xiao Baiying and Wang Tingshi are very close to each other, but they have a cold eyebrow and they peck him with a slender beak. Now someone is dead and wanted to get a fairy bird to play with. This thing is much faster than a flying carpet. Now it seems to be cheaper, sister Wang Tingshi. However, Yekong also had a harvest. A round bead was dug out from the neck of the female bird. This is the inner bird of the biplane. The middle-class beast of the bird is not low. It can sell for thousands of dollars outside. What about the spirit stone? Watching Wang Tingshi and the little biplanes having fun over there, someone only cursed, soulless bird thing, sooner or later, I'll find a fairy bird several times higher than your cow. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 576. 577 Foundation. In this way, after 3 more days, the portal still did not open. Someone was a bit annoyed. He would rather have a large number of corpse Yinzong disciples at this moment. Even standing outside would be okay. It's really uncomfortable to be trapped here. The monster outside was fierce, and he didn't have a map. If he went out, he might get lost. The thing that most annoyed him was that in another 2 days, the feeling of breakthrough would pass. I don't know when the next breakthrough will occur, and he can't bear to waste this opportunity. Wang Daiyu, tell you something. Yekong called Wang Tingshi, and the little biplane who was playing with her looked at someone with dissatisfaction. What's up? Wang Tingshi walked over with long hair. That's it, I want to break through. Wang Tingshi was shocked when he heard it, and this guy broke through too quickly. Last time I wanted to meet under the column of mixed UN, and now it is only half a month. This guy should actually upgrade 2 levels. This is really amazing. However, she soon woke up from surprise. This guy was worried that if the portal opened, a group of dead Yinzong disciples would come in. We are unfamiliar here. It is better to go out and find a place. If there are disciples here, I will not let them disturb you. Wang Tingshi thought about it. Obviously, He's still trusted her, which made her very happy. That's the best, but, I'm afraid they'll call back your father. When he orders it, you can't stop it? Wang Tingshi laughed again. It doesn't matter. This channel can only enter below the base period. My dad can't enter, and our disciples dare not obey my orders. It really won't work. I'll fight with them. I don't believe they dare to kill me. Wang Tingshi said this. Yekong was overjoyed, couldn't help but pinch Wang Tingshi's shoulder. Oh, you are so kind to me. Wang Tingshi blushed and bowed her head. Are we friends? Since they are friends, Yekong is also embarrassed to dominate the Jinpsa. Although the thing is not bad, it is a woman's thing. A big man always uses a handkerchief, which really does not fit someone's personality. Unexpectedly, Wang Tingshi picked it up and sent it back to someone, and said that she had made another piece, otherwise she could not break through the dead body, and went to the lake to take a bath. In that case, Yekong would no longer be arrogant, accepted the Jinpsa, and murmured in his heart, this is called sending sentimental tokens. Then Yekong started to make a breakthrough. The time for this breakthrough was really long, much longer than before, and he meditated for half a month. In fact, it only took him 2 days to reopen the meridians, and extended the scope of the spiritual power cyclone, but his spiritual power could not keep up. The next 13 days were all tempering the spiritual power used. Kangbei's aura is still abundant, but it is still mostly wood and soil, followed by fire and water, and almost no metallic. During his cultivation, Wang Tingshi was surprised again. This guy absorbed the aura too fast. Even in the sky above him, a huge vortex of aura was formed. Is this still human? Even when her father fell into the cultivation of his ancestors, he did not have such a vision, nor did he absorb the aura to such a terrible level. Reiki absorbed, tempered, and turned into Reiki cyclone for half a month. Yekong feels that his spiritual power cyclone has become stronger and his strength has also increased a lot. That feeling, the joy in the heart, cannot be sensed by mortals. A monk, the more difficult it is to break through, the more he will like the feeling of breakthrough. It's so cool. Its own strength and breakthrough of power are one step closer to heaven. This feeling is more than the most pleasant thing in the world. Yekong used to think it was cool to do that with beautiful women, but now it feels cool, and it's simply not comparable to the breakthrough coolness now. It is for this reason that there are so many hard-working monks who practice for 10 years and hundreds of years. They have no day and night, never feel hard, and never tired, just because they have completely fallen in love with this feeling. They don't feel tired, lonely, or bored. They have been out of school for 100 years of hard work. What they have done is this happiness that breaks through in an instant, and that is nothing else. Waiting for Yekong to wake up from the cultivation, it was already the 22nd day that they entered Kangbei. Heck, no one has entered, and the portal has not been opened again. This leaves Yekong in doubt. Actually, it's not that outsiders don't want to come, but Kangnan is still in trouble. Ye went into Kangbei, but it was messy outside. On the same day, the 4 great babies of Yuan Zone were able to easily occupy the Corpsian sect, and the disciples from the Corpsian sect escaped to the ancestors. The fallen nest was occupied, and my heart was furious. Even if I didn't go back to rescue, I would destroy the allied forces on the side of the mixed Yuan Zone. But people are not as good as heaven. I never thought that King Minggu Shidingfen would still pay attention to the situation after returning to the valley. Going to Kangbei, he would have to blend in even if he died. I heard that the immortal was gone, and Zhuan Yuanzu was destroyed. He didn't give up. Although he was seriously injured, there are 3 big babies in King Minggu, so the 3 big babies rushed with the follow-up troops. When I came to Jinyuanzong, I just met the siege of the Corpsianzong. The great thing about the 10,000 zombie soul formation is that it is both sleepy and killing. It traps people in it, and you can't kill you. But this new force of life is not stuck in the battlefield, it played a huge role. The Corpsian sect's 6 UN babies are in control of the battlefield, and they are over there. The 3 big babies in Qingming Valley ran all the way, and they were very aggressive, including one in the late babies. The ancestor of the Corpsian sect is unbearable. The ancestors of the Yuanying who had a big battle there had to separate a past confrontation. But a Yuanying couldn't hold it, and after a while, he almost died. Fortunately, he fled in a teleportation, but the disciples following him were all unlucky. At first glance, there is no way to go to 2 more. The 3 big babies over there were similar in strength to the 3 big babies, and they fought fiercely. But the 10,000 zombie soul formation rules were formed in 6 UN infants. 3 of them went away at once, and the large array of powers suddenly landed. There were more than a dozen elementary babies of various factions in the battle. When the battle was the most powerful, they were barely trapped. Now the power plummeted, the large array was quickly broken, and more than 10 UN babies all poured out. At the first sight of the fall, he was only 6 UN babies on his side, but he couldn't beat them anyway, so he quickly ran away with his disciples. When they ran away, they did not dare to leave the teleportation team. Their hometown was occupied. Who knows if there is anyone on the teleportation team? So the fallen ancestor had to release the flying boat and take the disciples to cross the ocean. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 577. 578 points. The victory over here is, of course, ecstatic. The only unhappy person is the Junyuan sect and so on. They are depressed that their new sovereign is gone. What makes the 4 big babies depressed is that their blood and jadeite are still in the new suzerain. It doesn't matter if the new suzime is dead, but if jade is crushed, they will die unjustly. You have to find a new lord. The 4 big babies didn't care about other things either, so they had to find other ancestors of the babies and ask them to help them find the lord of the sunspot. Upon hearing this, Zhong Yuanying was annoyed. You Yuanzong are too bad. Oh, let us oblige you to guard the mountains, you go to pick the fruits of victory, you are so shameless. Sun Yuanzong quickly explained here, this is not the case, you want to get rid of it, in fact, we are playing Wei Wei Rescue Zhao, sneak attack on the other side of the old nest to solve the perimeter. In fact, everyone knows what's going on, but the Yuanyings of the various factions have no time to talk to the mixed Yuan zone, and quickly go to the Corpsianzong to find the entrance to Kangbei, go to the treasure hunt, and find the practice method of Yuanying after the infant. The factions promised to help find Li He's lord, and find the channel is true. Thousands of people came from the teleportation corpse to the dead Yin sect. Originally Lingxiu's corpse Yinzong was completely ruined by this trouble. The house was completely lifted, the formation was completely broken, and even the mouse hole was dug to the end, almost 3 feet in the ground. Of course, the result was that Li Hiza was not found and the channel was not found. The only thing that is doubtful is where the 10,000 years of corpse shrouded. At this time, the fallen ancestors came with a group of disciples across the ocean. When I came back, my old nest completely changed, knowing that the fight was also a white fight, and my heart was furious. Let's go. You have the ability to break through 10,000 years of corpse to go to Kangbei. I don't want to go here. Everyone takes a break. Dead Yinzong had already prepared a backup base, which is an island on the vast sea, and the formation method facilities are available, just in case. In fact, everyone does not know that this corpse has its origins. It was the last group of retreating monks when the demon invasion of the territory was invaded. It was a day late because it blocked the demon. These monks returned to the meeting place, no cheers, no flowers, no applause, and some were just a huge wall. They don't want to be heroes, but they are the objects to be abandoned. Fleeing here, they had nowhere to run, they were surrounded by the demons, and they finally blew themselves up. It can be imagined that their grievances did not dissipate after more than 100,000 years, and eventually became the corpse of those 10,000 years. The lowest among those monks were the Yuanying period, mostly the deification period, and a few were spent. During the refining period of Xianxia, the corpse they left was extremely boundless. After more than 100,000 years, the consciousness in these corpses has long been dissipated, and the rest is only the corpses with deep grievances. But the strongest belief in their hearts still exists. Why not wait for us? We are going to Kangnan. So after searching for more than 100,000 years, these corpses finally found a weak point in the 10,000-meter barrier. So, corpses were slowly infiltrating, accumulated day by day, and finally all of them penetrated into Kangnan. The corpse Yin sects fall into the sky is because of this corpse, only to find the weakness of the million-feet barrier, which makes it possible for him to open the space channel. Otherwise, based on his cultivation, how can he break through the eternal barrier set by the ancient monks? This corpse is so powerful that those ancestors of the ancestors did not dare to break in. Some ancestors of the ancestors released their gods to investigate, and even that ray of gods was swallowed by the corpses, scaring them to dare to explore. In the end, the ancestors studied and determined that the passage to Kangbei was behind the corpse. As for Li Hiza, 80% of this man has gone to Kangbei with indignity. All the ancestors scolded the Li Hiza sovereign in his heart. It was so annoying and shameless. Even if we treat you well, how can you do this? Sold us all. However, they are also anxious. If Li Hiza ransacks the treasure first, or seizes the follow-up exercises of their major denominations, then he doesn't have to look at the kid's face to live in the future? No. You have to find a way to go to Kangbei. Therefore, the major denominations discussed again. Since the dead Yin sect can break through the tens of thousands of years of corpse chi, then go and ask the dead Yin sect to come back, with good conditions to discuss. The factions that had already been deeply hated hit the gate of the dead corpse. I'm not happy this time. No, aren't you great? You can go by yourself, I will not do it anymore, I will not be in Kangbei. The factions sent the letter many times, and they just ignored them. The factions were anxious and dragged on for a few days. They thought that some people in Junyuanzong had been searching for treasures, and their hearts were like cats. In the end, the major factions only had to let go of their old faces, and more than a dozen heads of Yuanying came to the door in person, and then the conditions for the fallen ancestors were made. If you can talk, return my daughter first. So, another digging started 3 feet, and the ancestors of the major factions were depressed and dead. First, they looked for Li Hiza, and now they want Wang Tingxi. Damn, do we really treat us as paparazzi? It took a while to find it, but I still couldn't find it this year. The world has become popular. Then the major denominations found the mixed yuan zong again. Since it is the corpse yinzong of your first 4 babies, then you should hand it over to the fallen daughter. The 4 big babies of yuan zong are about to vomit blood. Damn, we haven't seen any daughters. The major factions again speculated that they might have been killed by you. Okay, hand over the killer. Mixed yuan zong did not expect that his former comrades in arms became enemies in a blink of an eye, and he was immediately on full alert and was ready to go to war again. At this moment, there was news that the fallen daughter had a leg with Lord Li Heze, and they had met before the war. The news was released by Yun Fuzong's buddies. That day was the letter he helped Wang Tingxi send to Yekong. He didn't know Wang Tingxi, but now a portrait of Wang Tingxi has a hand and he recognizes it. The beautiful lady in black asked him to send Jade Cambodia that day. The various factions immediately understood that no wonder that Li Heze could break through the 10,000 years of corpse chi, and dared to have the inner response. Li Heze, you are so despicable. Actually, even the beautiful boys are playing out. Soak the fallen daughter into your hands, and then fool us to help you fight, and you just took the opportunity to elope the fallen daughter to elope to Kangbei to make a fortune. It's even more than us who are still dead. So the factions returned to the island of the dead Yin sect, and told the heavens that it wasn't we who didn't turn in people, but your daughter eloped with others, and most likely they had already gone to Kangbei. The fallen ancestors agreed, then everyone will go. But before you go, you still have to talk about the distribution of benefits, the number of people to go, as well as mutual coordination, maps, etc. There are many problems, and you can't go without talking. This conversation was discussed for another month. To the reader. Recommended book, Love Wins Fellow Charm, almost 600,000 words, you can check it out. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 578. Women Troubles. In this month, no one is more worried than the friends of Lian Rulan and Yekong. Lian Rulan knew that Li Heze was Yekong, and he was naturally very happy, but no one said a word. This guy went to Kangbei. This little thief, Lian Rulan scolded him, but thought that he had not seen him for 5 years. Not only had he succeeded in building the foundation, he had also become the monarch of the Yuan dynasty, and she couldn't help laughing. Just when she was uneasy, Ma Xiaoyi walked in from the outside. Sister Rulan, I heard that in the past few days, the Kangbei treasure hunt team is about to leave. We have 10 places in Linjiao Mountain, and you are the leader. Ah, Lian Rulan was so happy that she could finally go to Kangbei and didn't know where someone was. But she shook her head again. I'm not the leader. Ma Xiaoyi said, why isn't it appropriate? That passage only allows Zuji to pass through. The sister, Zuji, has a great success. The realm of pseudo-dandelion is the most suitable candidate. As they were talking, there was movement outside. Tiandaman fake Dan real person Zhang Hongqing begged to see. Lian Rulan suddenly looked at the board. I'm going back, you go and receive that Zhang Hongqing. It's annoying to come every day, don't they need to cultivate in Tiandaman? Ma Xiaoyi laughed. This Hongqing has already reached the pseudo-dandelion at a young age, and it is also a leader of the younger generation. Tiandaman looks like a gentleman, and his appearance is also upright. Although he is not as good as the brothers, he is better than the shameless man Li Heze, much better. Sister might as well. Ma Xiaoyi was very opinionated about the black cricket. Originally, the sister waited for Yekong, and he had nothing to say, but the sister suddenly changed the wind direction and favored Li Heze, which made him unhappy. Oh, didn't you come first? But then again, love is not something that comes first. Ma Xiaoyi didn't finish speaking, so she was refined by Ruolan. You don't understand, she interrupted, turned around, lifted Lianbu and left. Just 2 steps away, Zhang Hongqing walked in. When he saw that Lian Lan was going to leave, he quickly said, Ruo Lan is real and slow. Oh, it's Zhang Daiyu. After getting sick, go back to the quiet room to meditate. Lian Ruolan left without returning. Zhang Hongqing is desperately depressed. You can make excuses and make a better excuse. How can there be so many people who are immortal? This makes it clear that you despise me. Just look down on me. Refuse me even for reasons. You're so abominable, so proud, don't take people too seriously. Zhang Hongqing cannot be described as extremely vicious, but his eyes are very small. In particular, he has always been praised, and the monk took the initiative to give him a hug, so he has become accustomed to this feeling of supremacy. And Lian Ruolan's attitude towards him made him very unhappy, and his eyes were mad. Smelly woman. Isn't that a great foundation? Huh, Zhang Hongqing will press you under your belly one day and see how proud you are. Although Zhang Hongqing was annoyed, she had a serious face on her face, and smiled. A family has hundreds of women begging for it. If the orchid is beautiful in nature, people can't restrain it, and they don't know who will end up in it. Tiandaman is like this. He thinks that he is a gentleman, and he has nothing to say. In fact, Ma Xiaoyi also hated it and laughed. Zhang Daiyu, we are talking about sisters behind us, isn't it? Zhang Hongqing stared. What's wrong? Men love women, women love men, men love women, and heaven makes it happen. I and other cultivators should follow the way of heaven. How can they be twisted like mortals in the market? And even if Ruolan is here, I can also bluntly, without criticizing her, Brother Xiaoyi, do you say I am right? Another skill of Daemon this day is that he can tell the truth, and those who speak can't refute. Although Ma Xiaoyi disagreed, there was only Yingdao in his mouth. That's right. Zhang Hongqing is so proud that we are heavenly, and it always makes sense to speak. In another building, Yekong's friends are also talking about their trip to Kangbei. Junfan, I heard that this time the real leader of Yunfuzong is the old man Lin Tianwu who was defeated by Brother Li. Is it true? Lanming asked. Cao Junfan nodded. After all, Brother Lin has already completed the construction of the foundation, and all the team leaders are monks of false Dan. We can never let us be the team leader. Xian sighed. If Brother Li is here, he is the leader. Yeah, everyone nodded. He is already the monarch of the mixed UN zone. How could he come back and lead us as a team leader? Huang Zixuan hummed angrily and went out. The breeze is soft outside and the weather is just right. The Corpsian zone has been demolished, and the monks built the suggested houses, and looked at it at first glance, like the barracks of the mortal army, very spectacular. Although everything looked good, Huang Zixuan was upset. He could have been with Brother Hezi every day, but the guy changed and became the master of a case. Huang Zixuan is not good at pestering him. After all, he is not a section. He is also known as being frank and ridiculous, and will be laughed at. Originally planned to be busy after he succeeded the suzerain, and then went to him who knew that this guy went to Kangbei alone. As soon as the story came out, every case was scolding him as a shameless villain, and even Yunfuzong's disciples had already heard different voices, thinking that Li Heza was too bad, too despicable. Even the beautiful boys use it, and when everyone is still hostile to the dead Yin sect, they go to the daughter of the fallen ancestor. In short, there are a lot of uncomfortable things. Huang Zixuan is annoyed when she hears it. She doesn't believe that Brother Hezi is such a person. Ah, really annoying. Huang Zixuan stomped hard. Coincidentally, Master Cao Muse came in and saw Huang Zixuan's expression. Wan Er smiled, picked her hair in the forehead, came over and asked, why, worry about sunspots? Huang Zixuan was said to be centrally thinking, blushing, and lowering his head and pinching his clothes. Everyone is worried, and, Master, do you believe that Huangziji is the kind of shameless villain who is indifferent? Cao Muse smiled and stroked Huang Zixuan's hair and said, although Kuriko is speechless, he is simple and pure in nature, and sincere to others. I don't believe he will leave you all alone and go to Kangbei. Besides, we cannot resent it if he is not him. How many people can the various factions survive? As the ruler of the mixed Yuan sect at this moment, of course, he must take the interests of this sect as the first priority. I believe that even if the ancestors of other factions have the opportunity to go alone Kangbei, any of them will choose this way, so, no matter what, sunspots should not be considered mean men. Huang Zixuan heard Master say this, and suddenly felt better, holding Cao Muse's arm, coquettishly said, it is still reasonable for Master to say. To the reader. Chapter 7 broke out today under the patronage of Taoists, haha, both bricks referrals and collections are fine say, the mobile phone collection is on the introduction page. It is very easy to click on storage bag, please help this time, National Day. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 579. It's him. Cao Muse said, I don't worry about the sunspots. I heard that the dead Yinzong has sent 3 teams to Kangbei. Although the crisis is severe, they can come back alive as long as they don't run too far. After speaking, I sighed and said, Xian, I am worried about you. Master, in my life, I hate the man with 3 wives and 4 wives. Although Li Hezi is a good person, this makes me hard to be satisfied. Wu Yi has become his accomplice, and he is still unclear with Wang Tingxi, the dead Yin sect, and he heard that there are 2 mortal wives in his hometown. Cao Muse sighed and said, Zixuan, are you going to mix in? Huang Zixuan blushed and whispered, then I will always be with Master. Cao Muse shook her head. Master does not want you to be an old girl. In fact, the Shuangziu of the priests is also very helpful for the improvement. I mean, can you change to a man? Not only is Li Hezi a man. Huang Zixuan didn't answer, but looked up and asked, Master, aren't all men in this world married to a few wives? I heard that the Emperor Xianyuan who opened the world has 30,000 wives. Huang Zixuan's meaning was that he was unwilling to leave Li Hezi. Cao Mose's eyes flashed annoyed, but then she sighed again. Huang Zixuan herself agreed, what can she say? Okay, you are free. Cao Muse waved his hand unhappily. Huang Zixuan also knew that he bumped against Master, and bowed his head, Master is wrong, I should not bump against you, in fact, I and Hezi are really nothing. The apprentice took the initiative to admit his mistake, and Cao Muse nodded slightly. She also said, you will be entering Kangbei in the past 2 days. Do NT think so much? In the past, you will inevitably have a tough battle to fight, and is your panacea enough? Huang Zixuan chuckled, Master, please rest assured, all kinds of elixir are available, even the black jade discontinuous pills of Ling Yaoshan, I have them, I am not afraid of serious injuries. Oh, black jade intermittently. At this point, Cao Mo suddenly opened her eyes wide. Hey you intermittent pills? One of the holy medicines of Ling Yaoshan? Where did you get them? It's not that Cao Muse was excited. She has been looking for that man for a long time, but she couldn't find it. There are 2 clues, one is the black jade discontinuous pill, and the other is the magic weapon of stealth. So she looked for it in the monk of the elixir mountain, but not many of them met these 2 conditions at the same time. Few people in the elixir mountain had this elixir, and the man squeezed several pills into his mouth that day. Looks like he has a generous hand. Only one person meets this condition, that is, the elixir of the elixir mountain. But it looks different, but Lian Fanchen looked at his empty eyes. If you look at Lian Fanchen a few more times, the old guy will look back at you like an idiot. So it was also excluded. At this moment, Huang Zixuan had a black jade discontinuous pill, which excited Cao Muse. Huang Zixuan was taken aback by her, carefully answering, "Master, brother Hiza gave it to me." This time it was Cao Moses' turn, startled, "Li Hiza? Where did he come from?" "I don't know," he said. "He saved the life of Lian Fanchen." "Who knows the truth? How much is he? Is it just one?" Huang Zixuan didn't know why Master asked so detailed, and honestly replied, "Not only, he is full of bottles. Cao Junfan, Lanming, Zhongwulan, and Ye Xian, all have a share. What happened to Master? He's so pale. Cao Mos is going to faint." It turned out to be him. "Just now I advised my disciples not to be so close to him, but now, as a teacher, he was so close to him. No wonder he didn't show up, didn't talk, it was afraid of being found by himself." However, under the shouting of Huang Zixuan, Cao Muse came to her senses. "Mo Pan, things have not been confirmed yet." Cao Muse was busy and asked the last question, "Do you know if Li Hizi has a hidden weapon?" Huang Zixuan thought about it and said, "He has a lot of messy instruments, but he is invisible, he has never seen him use it." Cao Mose was overjoyed. "Really? Take it seriously." Huang Zixuan nodded. "Really? Really? You sure? Huang Zixuan is going to faint this time." "Master, have you taken the wrong elixir? Don't scare me. Hiza doesn't have that weapon." "Ha ha ha." Cao Muse laughed 3 times and patted Huang Zixuan's shoulders. "Good apprentice. Don't be suspicious, Master's current state can't be better. Well, take a stroll and return now." Cao Mose is so happy. He was really cranky, how could it be him? Ha ha. Cao Mose walked to her room happily. But then came a timid voice, "Oh, Master, I remember, although Brother Hizi has no stealth magic weapon, he has a stealth magic charm. I saw Cao Muse's ancestors had a soft knee and almost didn't fall." "Hey! You mean and shameless," Cao Mose roared in the distance. Huang Zixuan couldn't figure it out. "Master didn't say just now, Brother Hizi is so pure, we can't think he is shameless. But now, what the hell, is Master really taking the wrong medicine?" In the more than 1 month that Kangnan has been in trouble, Yekong has not been alive in Kangbei. After Yekong successfully broke through, he remembered the last dead male biplane and the shadow leopard's inner den. For the past 20 days, he first defended the female bird and later broke through. He almost forgot about it. Going on. Those Neodon was originally his trophy. There is no reason not to take it, not to mention that there are few people in this Kangbei. No one should move the corpses. As it happened, Wang Tingshi also wanted to let the little birdie go out to see the world, so the 2 of them, one bird, left the array again and flew out of the canyon. It was in the evening when the golden sunset could illuminate half of the sky, and the mountains below were full of life, which made people feel refreshed. Yekong, who had just broken through to the 5th floor of the building base, couldn't help but feel comfortable with his chest. He opened his mouth and made a long groan, and immediately there was an echo in the mountains. Wang Tingshi was also in a good mood. She looked at Yekong with a bright smile on her face, and 2 rows of shiny shells. In the same way, the little biplane came out to the world for the first time, and was very happy, tweeting from time to time, but it was still young and could not ride. However, Yekong's roar just now alarmed the beasts in the mountains. Each of them has the beast master. In this one, I don't know what the beast is. Hearing Yekong's Changjian, it immediately responded with a general response, roar. As soon as the beast master called, the monsters of the whole mountain called out, one after another, scaring someone to dare not bark. Let's get the beast Dan first. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 580. May 8th Crazy Beast Attack. The dense virgin forest is like the sea, and the wind blows like a spectacular wave. It was not easy to find the last place in such a sea. Fortunately, Yekong did not fly too far the last time. Yekong looked carefully and found the dense forest destroyed by his own meteor fire and rain. You can play with the birds above, I will go down and take the den on my own. Yekong nodded to Wang Tingshi and drove down on the flying carpet. Wang Tingshi immediately understood that he meant not to let the little biplane see his father's body. What a caring man, Wang Tingshi thought. There are not many men like this in the Kangnan continent. At least Wang Tingshi hasn't encountered it. Like her father, although he is a talented person, he is busy calculating all day. How can he take care of the feeling of a bird? How about it? Yeah, airborne, and the corpses were still there, but they didn't come for more than 20 days. The corpses had decayed. The corpses had obviously been stung by some animals. It was terrifying. Many places showed sensational bones. The good thing is that the male biplane and the other 4 shadow leopard monsters have not been eaten by other monsters. Yekong endured the odor and cut open the rotten body. First, he took out the male biplane's monster. However, the color of this monster is much worse than that of the female bird, and the whole bead is yellow. When you look at it with spiritual power, you find that the spiritual power leaked inside is serious. In fact, this zodiacs also has a shelf life. The fresher zodiacs are, the better. Of course, it's okay if you take them out and put them in a storage bag, but if you do take them, the liquid in the zodiacs will quickly lose, withered. If the dried goods are completely lost, the vitality of that animal den will be completely lost, and it will be useless. This is the case with the yam bird that Yekong took out. For more than 20 days, most of the activity in it has disappeared. Even if it is sold, it is worth less than a few dollars. However, Yekong still put it away. After all, it was his spoils, which was a pity. The shadow leopards, because they were repaired to a lower level, had all their internal dens, so Yekong had to throw them away. When Yekong was disappointed to leave, he suddenly heard a loud and thick beast roar in the dense forest, and then the whole mountain rocked. It started to shake only slightly, but it became stronger and stronger. His ancestors didn't get anything good, but instead encountered a quake and quickly flashed. Yekong quickly took off on the takeoff blanket and flew up. As soon as he flew up, he realized that this is an earthquake, this is a herd of beasts. I saw thousands of wild beasts rushing across, like a flood of wild beasts, all over the mountains, all along the way. All the trees fell, everything was destroyed. In a blink of an eye, the place where Yekong had just stood has become a flat land. The momentum of all beasts is like a landslide, as if the whole world is shocked. Not to mention Wang Tingshi, even Yekong took a sigh of air conditioning. If he took a step back just now, he would be in trouble. The little wing bird was so trembling that he shivered, digging into Wang Ting's arms, struggling violently. Someone who was watching was jealous. Obviously, this beast came to Yekong. As the beast king of this piece, he was already angry. He ordered the beasts to attack Yekong with a roar. So after the herd rushed past the place where Yekong was standing, they all stopped and roared against the sky. Many other leopards quickly stood on the top of the mountain, staring hard at the 2 people and 1 bird in the sky with a pair of blood-red eyes. Let's go back quickly. Wang Tingshi hugged the little biplane tightly and said nervously. Yekong smiled bitterly, I'm afraid it won't work if I want to go back. Sure enough, the beast master, who did not know where in the mountain was another roar. Roar. With this loud roar, the wind in the air stopped as if scared. A moment of calm. It was followed by violent storms. Wow, there was a sound like a waterfall pouring down. In the distant sky, a black bird appeared, and all the birds were shaking their wings. The sound was even bigger and faster than the herd of animals just now. It's a high-grade monster with a high-end Spitfire crow, Wang Tingshi shouted in surprise. Although this Spitfire crow is only a high-grade Spitfire, there are many winners. You can kill 1,000, but 10,000. How many? There are still a lot of low-grade inverse feather gold carvings, Yekong added. He knew this thing. The reward for Yun Fuzong Navy's second place was this thing, and finally the horrible little girl got a lot of hands. Kangbei is a treasure everywhere, Yekong could not help but sigh. In Yun Fuzong, an egg with an inverse feather carving was regarded as a valuable treasure to be used as a reward for Nuoboat's second place. At present, at least hundreds of inverse feather carvings are in the black and black piece. If you can catch them all, wow, it's developed. Kangbei is indeed a treasure everywhere, but the key question is whether you have the ability to take treasure. What Yekong is facing now is not a question of taking treasure, but a matter of life saving. Let's run away, Wang Tingshi said nervously. Yekong shook his head. The number of birds is too large, even if he and Wang Tingshi escape to the defensive formation, it will not help. These birds are much smaller than the wings, and the canyon can easily go down. If you and Wang Tingshi are trapped in the formation, and the defensive array is bombarded by them again, then it is dangerous, and there is no place to escape in the canyon. Golden Cloud Covered Charm. Inferior high-level metallic spells can release a large range of golden clouds, which is a very good group defensive spell. Its defense is no less than the defensive formation in the canyon. What's more, it can obstruct the enemy's sight. With the high-grade rune paper of Xiaopin, it is not the same. The high-grade rune of Xiaopin does not have to be reluctant to cast. Yekong a little regrets that he did not make any more in Yun Fuzong. Boom boom. In a blink of an eye, a large swarm of birds flew over and hit the golden cloud severely, making a deafening noise. Those smaller Spitfire crows did not fear death, and they hit the golden clouds one by one, smashing into a blazing flame, and those inverse feathered golden carvings also hit the golden clouds undesirably. How long can this magic rune block? Wang Tingshi asked. Yekong only had a bitter smile. He was also using it for the first time. He didn't know how long it could be blocked. At the moment, the entire cloud of gold was surrounded, and he could not escape if he wanted to escape. Most importantly, there is no stronger bird yet. Appear. Wang Daiyu, kill it. Yekong rushed out first. Although Jin Yun blocked the enemy's sight, the people inside it could clearly see the outside and move around in Jin Yun. The Mad Cultivator. Author, Xianxia. Chapter 581. 52 monsters are ferocious. Sword bursts, spells, howling wolf king, all can attack a large area. Seeing the ground, Wang Tingshi stunned. This guy is too strong, and originally thought that killing so many birds would kill him, but now it seems that it should not be long. No matter how many you are, can there be many monsters in the sea? I can kill thousands of miles in the sea without seeing a sea monster, and I can kill here into a pure land, more and more. Why is there so much? I have a wide range of spells, I have the wisdom of human beings, and am afraid of you crow eagles? Kill kill. Without tenderness and tenderness, without any sympathy, these are just beasts. Driven by Yekong, Wang Tingshi also killed more and more courageously. A black gauze swayed in the golden mist clouds, and that sloppy posture was pleasing to the eye. As the corpse's eldest daughter, Wang Tingshi's Fei Jian is also very sinister. There are thousands of years of corpse dying on this sword, and the Spitfire Raven of the middle sword is immediately attacked by the corpse gas. If another Spitfire Raven touches its body at this moment, it will immediately die with it, worse than the plague. Every time Wang Tingshi shot, there were also many birds falling and falling. Yekong is so happy to kill. These birds are different from the sea monster. Although all the sea monsters can talk, they can't be repaired. But these birds are different. The inverse feather golden eagle is a middle-class spirit beast, each has a dan, and the fire-eating crow is a high-ranking high-grade, and half of them have a demon den. If you kill them all, you will take Yaden. Oh my god, how many spirit stones do you get? Yekong was pondering his wealth plan again, but the birds were no longer so stupid. Roar, the huge roar of the beast in the forest came again, as if to give orders to the birds in the sky. Later, the birds stopped attacking, but took a siege situation outside Jinyun, surrounding Jinyun in groups and preventing them from escaping. No, they stopped attacking, maybe there's nothing big. Yekong worries back to the middle of Jinyun. Although Wang Tingshi didn't understand what it was, she could still understand it. She smiled brightly. If it was before, maybe I'm still worried, but now, I'm very relieved that you are so brave, no matter how big Stein was still a corpse. Wow, do you trust my ability so much? I don't think you are too optimistic. The niche is just a real person in the middle of the foundation. There is a great monster. There is no chance to escape. Be careful to take me to Huangquan. Yekong joked. Wang Tingshi said, after Huangquan, I will follow you. Yekong fainted. Why is this so ambiguous? The Spitfires have never attacked, besieging them and wondering what they are waiting for. After 2 hours, the full moon hangs high in the sky and sprinkles 1,000 miles of silver light, and the moment when the monster's wait is here. Oh, the long wolf howled across the forest. Well, countless wolverines in the mountains responded. Roar, the mysterious beast roared again. What are they doing? Wang Tingshi asked. Well, probably the Wolf King and the Beast King looked right into each other. Let's play love songs to find love, Yekong said easily, but he was ready. Sure enough, the Wolf King on the top of the mountain suddenly stood on his own in the beast call, turning into a hairy werewolf, with a terrible appearance and blood-red eyes staring at the humans in the sky. It is said that on a full moon night, a wolf will become a man, and a man will become a wolf. It seems that the fairy tale of my hometown is good. Yekong nodded. Wang Tingshi did not agree. Your home story is only half right. Now it is a wolf that has become a human, and a person has not become a wolf. Have you become a wolf? Yekong grinned. I become a wolf, and you become a meowing lamb. Wang Tingshi didn't understand the meaning of deep. But she didn't have time to think, because after the werewolf changed, there was a second change. I saw a Spitfire rushing forward, and together with the werewolf, a shadow swayed. The werewolf huffed behind him, and opened a pair of black wings. This kind of wolf is not high grade at first, it is only inferior in the lower grades, but after transforming into a werewolf, it is only inferior in the lower grades, so Yekong didn't take it seriously. But when they are combined with the low-end Spitfire crow, the grade is much higher, and it suddenly jumps to the low end of the top grade. This power is much more powerful, which is equivalent to the human's budding period. There is more than one Wolf King who transforms. On each hill, there are constant sounds of wolf howls, and there are also continuous flames of raptors. More and more wolves transform into monsters. They all open their wings and prepare. Heli launched a must-kill attack on Jinyun. Well fit. What kind of spell is this? Yekong has never heard of the skills of two animals joining together. It is too powerful. What would happen if the two beasts were brought together? Wang Tingshi nodded. Generally monsters do not have this skill, only a kind of ancient beast named Hong Huang has this ability. This beast is hermaphrodite, so it is also called male and female beast. Ability to fit other monsters. Hong Huang ancient beast. Yekong dared to have a headache. He was just here to get some loot. Roar, the roaring ancient beast in the dark again roared, and nearly 100 werewolves with wings immediately flew up and flew into Jinyun. After all, this golden cloud is formed by a spell, and it is different from the real defense. The biggest difference is that there is a time limit. If you type a charm, you can't expect it to exist forever. Jinyun has been supporting the Spitfire crow for 2 hours, and has been teetering. Where can it be worthy of 100 ancestors of Xandan to join forces? Boom, Jin Yun completely dissipated, Yekong and Wang Tingshi were completely exposed to the hungry werewolf. The werewolves stared fiercely at the two humans, and the werewolves shuddered. Yekong patted his storage bag and yelled in a cold voice, "Many friends, the crisis is in front of you, ready to fight? It is impossible to die today." Yekong defeated the old ancestor of Jadan, but it was one-on-one, but there were nearly 100 werewolves with the ability of Jadan in front of him. Among the mountains, there was a giant monster who did not show up. The battle is fierce and extremely dangerous. But Yekong was not afraid. "I have never been afraid of the ancestors of the Yuan infant period. If you want me to die, you have to pay a heavy price." Expensive. Suddenly, in the distance, there was a loud roar. The voice was so magnificent, and with immense impulses, this sound suppressed the roar of other monsters. "Another one is more powerful." Yekong smiled bitterly. "Today is really bad luck. An ancient Hong Huang animal hasn't been settled yet, and another one is more powerful over there.